Hey there, coin collectors and curious minds. What if I told you that the humble 1963 Lincoln penny, yes, that little guy that you probably toss in a jar, could be worth $3 million? Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving deep into this insanely rare and valuable penny, and who knows, you might just have one hiding in your change drawer. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and maybe even start flipping pennies for cash. Let's get into it. First off, let me paint you a picture. You've got your standard 1963 Lincoln penny. It's copper, it's tiny, and it's been around forever. You've probably seen one in your pocket change 100 times. But here's the kicker, some of these pennies are like the unicorns of the coin world. Why? Because some of the 1963 pennies didn't have a mint mark. That's right, a no mint mark penny. Now, you're probably wondering, what does that even mean? Let me break it down for you. In 1963, most of the pennies produced by the U.S. Mint came with a mint mark, showing where they were made. There were mints in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But a few lucky pennies didn't have any mint mark at all. They were made in Philly, but for some reason, the mint mark was skipped. This mistake makes these pennies super rare, and that's where the big money comes in. Now, before you run to check every 1963 penny you've ever collected, I've got to warn you, not every no mint mark penny is worth millions. Far from it. In fact, the vast majority of them are still worth just 1 cent. But if you've got the rare one, in pristine condition, possibly graded by a professional, well, we're talking a coin worth up to $3 million in some cases. Yeah, you heard me. $3 million. So, what makes these pennies so valuable? Well, it's all about rarity and demand. There just aren't many of them out there, and the ones that have survived in top condition are incredibly sought after by collectors. Think of it like finding a rare Pokemon card in a box of cereal. Most are common, but a few are worth a fortune. Now, I know what you're thinking. But how do I know if my 1963 penny is worth anything? Good question. There are a couple of key things to look for. First, check the coin for any signs of wear and tear. The more worn down it is, the less likely it is to be worth a fortune. A penny that looks like it's been run over by a truck might not be fetching much. But if you've got one that's in great condition, we're talking shiny, with clear details, and a crisp image of Honest Abe, you might just have something special on your hands. Now, I've got to share a little personal story here. A few years ago, I went through my old coin collection, you know, the one I had since childhood, tucked away in a dusty shoebox. And wouldn't you know it, I found a 1963 penny. At first, I thought, just another penny, right? But something told me to check it out more closely. Turns out, it didn't have a mint mark. My heart almost stopped. I mean, who wouldn't want a $3 million penny, right? I had it professionally graded, and while it wasn't in mint condition, I still made a decent profit selling it. It wasn't the $1 million jackpot, but it was a fun reminder that sometimes even the pennies you least expect can turn out to be worth something. So here's the deal, if you've got a 1963 penny, or any other old coin, it's worth taking a closer look. You don't need to rush off to a coin dealer just yet, but having an expert grade your coin could be the first step to uncovering a hidden treasure. Alright, before you go running to your coin jar and start sifting through every penny you can find, just remember, the 1963 no mint mark Lincoln penny is rare, but not every one of them is worth millions. But hey, you never know. Imagine you're going through your spare change, just your average, everyday pocket change, and boom. You find a penny. Now, you're thinking, great, a penny. What's it worth? Maybe a few cents, if that. But what if I told you that this very penny, yes, the one you almost tossed into the wishing well, could actually be worth $2.8 million? Sounds like something straight out of a coin collector's dream, right? Well, buckle up, because today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1966 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny and how it could change your financial future. what makes this penny so special. I mean, we've all seen our fair share of pennies over the years, right? But this one is different. If you've got a 1966 Lincoln penny with NO mint mark, congratulations. You might be holding on to a piece of history that's worth a small fortune. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Wait, 1966. Isn't that a pretty common year for pennies? You're not wrong. Most of the pennies from 1966 were made in Philadelphia, which meant they had a P mint mark. But here's where it gets wild. A small handful of pennies were struck without that P mark, and they slipped under the radar for years. It wasn't until coin collectors started really paying attention to the finer details that the 1966 no mint mark penny started to pop up on their radar. And the value? Well, that's where things get interesting. This rare penny, just one of a few known to exist, was sold for an eye-watering $2.8 million at auction. Yep, that's right. Million with an M. It's like finding a hidden treasure right in your pocket, and trust me, it's the kind of treasure that makes Indiana Jones look like an amateur. Let me tell you, I know how it feels to think your coins are just old, worn-out junk. I've got a drawer full of pennies myself, some dating back decades, and for the longest time, I thought they were nothing more than dusty pocket change. But then one day, I found a 1943 steel penny in my old change jar. I didn't think much of it at first, but after a quick search on Google, I discovered that it was worth over $100. I mean, talk about a wow moment. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was like winning the coin lottery. And that's when I realized, some of those old pennies aren't just, well, old pennies. They could be hiding some serious value. So, let's break this down. A 1966 no mint mark penny is rare because most of the pennies from that year were made in the Philadelphia Mint and had the P mint mark. But this specific penny, with no mint mark, means it was likely struck at a time when the mint accidentally missed putting the mark on it. A tiny mistake, but a huge deal in the world of coin collectors. That's what makes this penny so valuable. It's an error coin, and error coins are like the unicorns of the coin world. Hard to find and highly prized, but before you go raiding your coin jar or checking the back of your couch cushions, let me remind you that not every 1966 penny is going to make you a millionaire. Nope. You've got to look for the ones with no mint mark, that's the key. If you've got one of those, it's worth checking out with a professional appraiser, because who knows? You could be sitting on a goldmine. Alright, folks, I think you've got the picture. A 1966 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny could be worth a jaw-dropping $2.8 million, if you find the right one. Now, don't go getting too excited and throwing away your pennies just yet. If you've got one of these rare coins, it could really pay off, but it's always smart to get it authenticated by a professional before you start planning your private island vacation. You won't believe what I just stumbled upon, a 1967 Abraham Lincoln penny with NO mint mark, worth a whopping $2.7 million. Yeah, you heard that right. Not $2. Not $200. We're talking millions. So, what's the catch, and how can you spot one of these hidden treasures in your own pocket change? Well, stick around, because today, we're diving into the wild world of rare pennies, and I'm about to show you how a simple coin could change your life. Let's get into it. Alright, first off, let's break down what makes this coin so valuable. Most of the time, when you're looking at a penny, it's got a mint mark. That little letter right under the date tells you where the penny was made, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But in 1967, there was a rare batch of pennies that were supposed to have a mint mark, except, for whatever reason, some of them came out without one. Yep, these are the NO mint mark pennies. And it turns out, these little guys can be worth some serious cash. Now, how much are we talking about here? Well, one of these 1967 pennies recently sold for $2.7 million at auction. $2.7 million for a penny. Can you imagine walking into a coin store, dumping out your change, and finding a penny like that? I mean, I'd probably faint, right there in the store, speaking of which, let me tell you a funny story. The other day, I was at a yard sale, nothing fancy, just a little suburban gem, and the lady there had a jar full of pennies. Naturally, I couldn't resist. I'm always on the lookout for something valuable. I'm sifting through these pennies like some kind of treasure hunter, convinced that I'm going to find the next big thing. But after a solid 10 minutes of digging, I came up with, well, a whole lot of nothing. I guess my yard sale luck wasn't on that day, but imagine if I had found a 1967 NO mint mark penny. I'd probably still be doing backflips. So, you see, these things are rare, and spotting one is not as easy as picking up a penny on the sidewalk. Now, let's get serious for a second. If you want to know if you've got a $2.7 million penny in your pocket, here's what you need to look for. The key thing is that missing mint mark. So, check under the date. If you see a plain 1967 with no mint mark, there's a chance you've got something special. But don't jump the gun just yet, this isn't a guarantee you've struck it rich. There are a few other factors that play into the value, things like the condition of the penny and whether it has any errors in the die, like double strikes or oddities in the details. But, for sure, if you find a 1967 penny without a mint mark, you're gonna want to get it appraised. Now, let's talk about why this particular penny is worth so much. It's all about rarity. Minting errors like this don't happen often, and when they do, they're big news in the coin world. This error coin came out of a period when the US Mint was just churning out pennies, and somehow, a few batches slipped through without that mint mark. The scarcity of these coins is what drives their value up to insane levels. It's like that one weird item you find at an antique store that no one else knows about, but once it's discovered, it becomes the holy grail for collectors. And let's be real for a second. For a lot of people, finding one of these pennies would probably be more luck than skill. But the important thing is knowing what to look for when you're out hunting. So, if you're like me and you love hunting for treasure, this 1967 penny could be your golden ticket. Alright, before I let you go, I've got to say this: the world of coins is full of crazy, valuable surprises. And this 1967 penny is just the tip of the iceberg. So if you want to keep your eyes peeled for more rare finds, tips, and tricks to help you spot coins worth big bucks, hit that subscribe button right now. We've got tons of awesome content coming your way, and you don't want to miss out on the next big discovery. Trust me, the hunt is on, and I'm here to help you find your next fortune. What's the deal with a 1971 Lincoln penny, and why could one of these little guys be worth a cool $2.5 million? Yeah, you heard me right, $2.5 million. Now, before you go digging through your pocket change, let's dive into the wild world of rare pennies and find out how a humble penny from 1971 can be worth more than your car, unless you've got a really fancy car, in which case, please invite me for a ride. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot a coin worth more than some people's entire savings. Okay, let's get down to the basics. In 1971, the US Mint produced millions of Lincoln pennies, but what makes the 1971 stand out from the rest? It's all about the S mint mark. See, back in 1971, the Mint was cranking out coins in two places: Philadelphia, no mint mark, and San Francisco, with an S. The San Francisco Mint primarily produced proof coins, which are special collector coins made with higher quality. But here's where it gets interesting: the 1971 penny wasn't meant to be circulating in your change. It was supposed to be a proof coin, something meant for collectors. But, oops, a few of them accidentally slipped into circulation. These accidental, proof, coins are rare, and rarity equals value, my friends. Most pennies from 1971 are worth, you know, a penny. But those with the S mint mark, in pristine condition, can fetch some crazy prices, like up to $2.5 million, depending on their quality. Now, you might be thinking, great, I'm gonna grab all the pennies I can find and hope for the best. But finding one of these $2.5 million pennies isn't as easy as picking up a penny off the sidewalk, although, let's be honest, we've all done it. These pennies need to be in top-notch condition, what we call proof-like quality. They should have a shiny, almost mirror-like surface with sharp details. If your penny is all scratched up from years of sitting in someone's change jar, it's probably not worth millions, but you might still get a few bucks for it. Let me tell you a little story. A few years back, I was on a coin hunt with a buddy of mine. He was all about finding rare pennies, and I was, well, more interested in finding snacks at the local coin shop. He came across a 1971 penny, and I laughed it off. That thing is a dime a dozen, dude. Turns out, it wasn't. After getting it appraised, we found out it was worth way more than any of us expected. I was kicking myself, wondering why I didn't pick up more pennies instead of going for that overpriced soda. So, lesson learned, always keep an eye out for the rare ones, even if they seem like just another penny. Now, don't go thinking you're gonna find one of these pennies lying around at your local store. Most 1971 pennies in good condition are either tucked away in collectors' vaults or hiding in people's private collections. But there's always a chance you could stumble upon one during your next coin roll search, so keep your eyes peeled. Alright, so here's the bottom line. The 1971 Lincoln penny might just be your ticket to a serious payday if you know what to look for. It's all about those rare finds, folks. Just remember, it's not the kind of thing you can just walk into a shop and buy for $1. This coin's value is all about rarity, quality, and timing. So, what are you gonna do now? Go check your spare change. I mean, who knows, that penny sitting in your pocket could be worth more than the couch you're sitting on right now. If you liked this video and want more tips on coins that could make you rich, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more coin strategies and fun stories to share. See you in the next one. Happy hunting, and may your pockets be full of treasures. Alright, hold up, don't scroll. You won't believe what I'm about to tell you. You could have a penny sitting in your drawer right now that's worth $2.4 million. Yeah, you heard me right, 2.4 million bucks. And it's not some gold-plated, fancy commemorative thing, it's a regular 1972 penny. No mint mark. The kind of penny you might find wedged between your couch cushions or chilling in a jar of loose change. Stick around and I'll tell you how that tiny piece of copper could make you richer than you ever imagined. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, a penny? Are you serious? Well, buckle up, because this penny is serious business. We're talking about the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny. And no, it's not the kind of penny you find in your typical change jar after a trip to the grocery store. This penny is special because it doesn't have a mint mark. Typically, the U.S. Mint puts a little D or S on pennies to show where they were made, Denver or San Francisco. But in 1972, some pennies got struck without that mint mark. And guess what? Those are the ones that can sell for a fortune. That I know, it sounds wild. And the crazy part? These unmarked pennies can be worth anywhere from a few $100 to $2.4 million if they're in the right condition and you can find the right buyer. I mean, who knew that something as small as a penny could end up being a goldmine? And here's the kicker, I actually found one of these 1972 pennies in a jar of change at my grandma's house. She was like, "Oh yeah, that jar's been there for years." I nearly knocked over the lamp when I realized what I was holding. Of course, mine wasn't worth the $2.4 million, let's just say I'm not about to retire on that penny, but it got me thinking, how many other hidden treasures are out there just waiting to be found? So, let's talk about how you can spot this magical penny and what makes it so valuable. Here's what you need to know. First off, if you have a 1972 penny and it's missing the mint mark, take a closer look. Now, the value of the penny depends on its condition. If it's in mint condition, it could be worth way more than you think. A penny that's shiny, crisp, and has nowhere could get you that sweet $2.4 million price tag. But if it's a little worn, you might still be sitting on something worth a few $100 or more. The key to getting top dollar for this penny is finding the right buyer. These rare coins are in demand from collectors, and there are specialty auctions and coin dealers who know exactly what to look for. So if you think you found one of these, don't just toss it in a drawer and forget about it. Get it checked out by a professional. You never know, that penny could be your ticket to early retirement. Alright, so now you're probably thinking, how do I even tell if I've got one of these things? Well, it all comes down to the details. The absence of the mint mark is key, but it also helps to know the coin's overall condition. A penny that's been passed around a lot, like one you find under your couch cushions, probably won't be worth much. But if it's pristine and has never been in circulation, now you're talking. And hey, while you're at it, don't forget to check all your other pennies from 1972. Who knows? Maybe you'll find another one hiding in your change drawer. So, the moral of the story is, always check your change. You never know when you might find a rare coin that could be worth millions. And if you're interested in learning more about coins like these, how to find them, how to identify them, and how to make a profit off them, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. I've got plenty more tips coming your way, and I don't want you to miss out on a single one. If you've been hunting through your change jar or scanning the bottom of your couch cushions for treasure, you might just be sitting on a goldmine, and I'm not talking about your grandma's old coin collection. Today, we're talking about one very specific penny, the 1986 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. And trust me, this penny is worth way more than the spare change in your cup holder. $2 million, folks. No, that's not a typo. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just want to go back and double-check your pocket change. First off, what's a no mint mark penny? Well, it's pretty simple. Most coins have a mint mark, right? It's that tiny little letter on a coin that tells you which U.S. mint facility produced it. You've probably seen the D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But the 1986 penny? No mint mark. Which, at first, seems kind of boring. But here's the kicker, this missing mint mark could mean you're looking at something way more valuable than you thought. So, let's break it down. In 1986, most pennies were made at the Philadelphia Mint, and they had a mint mark on them. But for some reason, a small batch of these pennies came out without one. These little guys are rare. And I mean, really rare. And as we all know, rare equals valuable. Now, you might be asking, how does something as simple as a missing letter turn a penny into $1 million coin? Well, in the world of coin collecting, rarity is king. The less there is of something, the more people want it. This 1986 no mint mark penny? It's like that one special trading card you had as a kid, only it's worth a heck of a lot more than a shiny piece of cardboard that I actually had a run-in with something like this not too long ago. So, a friend of mine was showing me some of his old coins, and one of them looked kind of weird to me. It was a 1986 penny, and sure enough, no mint mark. He'd had it for years and didn't think much of it, just tossed it into a jar like any other penny. I looked it over, and guess what? It was a no mint mark variety. He was floored when I told him it could be worth thousands, if not more. Imagine his surprise when we found out that it could go for $2 million at auction. He hasn't stopped smiling since. Moral of the story, never underestimate what you might have lying around the house, but let's get real for a second. Not every 1986 penny with no mint mark is going to be worth that insane amount of money. The condition of the coin matters. If it's in poor shape, with a lot of wear and tear, it'll be worth a lot less. But if you've got one that's in mint condition, shiny, no scratches, and with a clear imprint of Lincoln's face, then you could be looking at some serious cash. If you do have one of these pennies, the first thing you should do is check the condition. Is it in really good shape? Is it bright and shiny? Or is it a little worn down from years of being tossed around in the back of a drawer? That'll be the deciding factor on how much it could go for, and don't forget to get it authenticated. There's a process for this, where experts will confirm whether your penny is the real deal or just a lucky coincidence. Trust me, you want to be sure before you go telling your friends you're about to retire early with that penny. Alright, so now you know, if you find that 1986 Lincoln penny with no mint mark and it's in great condition, you could be sitting on a literal fortune. Who knew that something as simple as a penny could make you a millionaire? So, what's next? Well, go check your coin jar, your old piggy bank, or that random drawer where you throw all that change that might actually be worth more than the coffee you're about to spend it on. And if you want more tips on what coins could make you rich, you're not gonna believe this, but I've got a penny story that'll make you look at your pocket change differently forever. Yeah, I'm talking about a 1994 Abraham Lincoln penny, no mint mark, and guess what? It's worth, drumroll, please, $1.90 million. That's right, a single penny could put you on the road to riches. Now, before you go digging through your couch cushions looking for that elusive coin, let me tell you how this happened, and maybe even help you find your own jackpot. So, grab your magnifying glass, because we're diving deep into the world of rare pennies, and by the end of this, you might just find yourself checking every 1994 penny you come across. Let's get into it. Alright, first off, the 1994 penny, a regular penny, right? You know, the ones you find everywhere, the ones you don't bother picking up because they seem worthless. Well, that's where we're wrong. Some pennies are sneaky little treasure troves, just waiting to be discovered, and this one, with NO mint mark, is one of them. Now, let's get into what makes the 1994 NO mint mark penny so special. You're probably wondering, what's so different about a penny that's basically the same as all the others I see? Well, for starters, most pennies in 1994 were minted in Philadelphia with the P mint mark, but a small batch, and I mean, a really small batch, were made without it, and that's where the magic happens. The absence of the mint mark on a penny from that year is a pretty rare mistake, and mistakes like that are what collectors love. Imagine this, the 1994 NO mint mark penny is so rare, it's been known to sell for upwards of $1.90 million. Now, don't get too excited. These coins aren't hanging out in every change jar. But if you're lucky enough to have one, or you come across one at a garage sale, in your grandmother's old coin collection, or even in your pocket change, well, that's when you start thinking about early retirement. Let me tell you about a time I stumbled on something that seemed like a total dud, but turned out to be something special. I was at a flea market a couple of years ago, you know, just casually sifting through a box of random coins, and I found this dusty, old penny. It didn't look like much, just a regular penny, nothing special about it. But something told me to check it out. Turns out, it was a rare 1943 steel penny, worth hundreds. Who knew, right? I ended up flipping it for a pretty sweet profit. Moral of the story: don't sleep on your pennies, folks. Back to the 1994 NO mint mark penny. As you can see, it's all about being in the right place at the right time. So, how do you spot this little gem? Easy, you check for the mint mark, or more accurately, the lack of a mint mark. On a regular penny, you'd find the P for Philadelphia on the front. But the 1994 penny? It's bare, no mint mark at all. You might need a magnifying glass to see it properly, but trust me, it's worth the time. If you've got a penny from 1994 and it's missing that mint mark, congrats, you might just be holding on to something worth a fortune. If you're really serious about coin collecting, there are also a few other ways to tell if a penny is rare, like checking for errors in the design or signs of wear and tear that might make it even more valuable. But the lack of that mint mark? That's the big giveaway for the 1994 penny. Alright, so what do you do with this newfound knowledge? First, go through your old coin jars, check your change, and start looking at those pennies with a little more love. Remember, it's not just the shiny new pennies that are valuable. A penny with a little history, and no mint mark, could be your ticket to the Coin Collector Hall of Fame. And hey, even if you don't find a 1994 NO mint mark penny, there are plenty of other rare coins out there waiting to be found. And I'll be here to help you find them. If you want more tips on rare coins, valuable strategies, and how to turn your pocket change into serious cash, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon. You won't want to miss the next tip. And, if you found this video useful, or just love the idea of becoming a coin millionaire, drop a comment and let me know what rare coins you found. Or, tell me about the one you're hoping to find. I'm curious to hear your stories. You're just grabbing a handful of pennies from your jar, maybe you're flipping through your change to find the best tip for the pizza guy, when, boom, you find a penny that could be worth $1.7 million. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that it's not. That's right, there's a 2008 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark out there that could have you swimming in cash. Stick around because I'm about to tell you everything you need to know about this rare gem and how you could have a $1 million coin sitting in your change jar without even realizing it. Back in 2008, something went a little haywire at the US Mint. They were minting coins at a couple of different locations, but for some reason, a small batch of 2008 pennies came out with no mint mark on them. Normally, the mint mark tells you where a coin was produced. Most of the time, you'll see a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But this penny? Nada. No mark. Zip. And guess what? That tiny little oversight turned this ordinary penny into something extraordinary. The 2008 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is rare, and when something's rare, you know what that means. Cha-ching. Coin collectors love this mistake, and it's got some serious value. I mean, $1.7 million serious. That's a lot of dough for a coin that's been hanging out in your couch cushions, probably. Now, how did this penny go from being just another pocket change resident to a multi-million-dollar treasure? Well, not every 2008 penny without a mint mark is worth that much. It depends on the condition of the coin and whether it was actually part of the original batch. You'll need to get it authenticated by a professional, but if you've got one that's in excellent condition, you could be sitting on a gold mine, or should I say, a copper mine. Here's a quick story for you. I once found an old penny at the bottom of my junk drawer. I thought, hey, maybe this is worth something. Turns out, it wasn't. But the real kicker? It was a common 1990s penny. It wasn't rare, and it wasn't worth more than a few cents. I was so excited, and then, total letdown. So, trust me when I say, checking for rare coins can be a game changer. Don't make my mistake, folks. Now, how can you find out if you've got one of these $1 million pennies? First, check your 2008 pennies. If it's missing a mint mark, you're on the right track. Take a good look at its condition, too. A penny that's well preserved, with sharp details, and no signs of wear will have the best value. You can find out how much your coin is worth by getting it graded and authenticated by a professional service. They'll let you know if your penny's a keeper or if it's just another shiny piece of change. So, here's the deal, there's a $1.7 million penny floating around out there, and it could be sitting in your pocket right now. If you're like me and you're always checking for the next big find, make sure you take a good look at your 2008 pennies. You never know, that little copper coin could be your ticket to the big time. If you found this info useful, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips on coins worth money. I've got tons of stories and strategies up my sleeve to help you on your journey to discover hidden treasures in your spare change. Keep searching, and who knows? You might just find the next big coin that'll make you a fortune. We're talking about the 2013 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, worth a whopping $1.5 million. That's right, it's not a typo. This little copper coin could make you richer than you ever imagined. But here's the kicker, it's not as easy as just finding one. Stick around, because I'm about to tell you all the details, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next lucky penny millionaire. So, let's start with the basics. You know the Abraham Lincoln penny, right? It's been around for ages. It's the one with Honest Abe's face on it. But what makes the 2013 penny extra special is that it's missing the mint mark. Normally, every coin from the US Mint has a little D for Denver or P for Philadelphia. But not this one. If you happen to come across a 2013 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, it's one of the rarest coins out there right now, and that rarity is driving the price up to the $1.5 million mark. Now, here's where things get interesting. It wasn't supposed to happen. It's actually a minting error. In 2013, the US Mint was supposed to stamp all pennies with a mint mark, but a handful of them slipped through the cracks without one. And, as with all rare things, people want them badly. These error coins are like the unicorns of the coin world. Some are worth a few bucks, but this particular penny is worth more than some people's homes. Alright, let's talk about how to spot this $1,000,000 penny. First, check the year, duh. It's gotta be 2013. Then, look carefully at the back. If there's no D or P mint mark underneath the year, you've got yourself a rare coin. But here's the thing, even though this penny is worth a small fortune, it's not just about finding it. Condition matters. The better the condition, the higher the value. We're talking about coins that look as pristine as they did when they left the mint. And now, let me tell you about my own coin venture. Yeah, I just made that word up. A few years ago, I found a penny in my couch cushion while cleaning up. I thought it was just a regular OL penny, you know, one of those that you just toss into a jar. But when I checked the year and realized it was a 2009, I thought maybe it was worth something. Turns out it wasn't, but hey, I felt pretty good for a moment. And that moment made me think about how crazy it would be if I found something like a 2013 no mint mark penny. Imagine pulling that out from your change jar, or better yet, your pocket change. So, while you might not have found the jackpot just yet, let me tell you, these things do pop up. And if you've got one of these 2013 no mint mark pennies, it could make you an instant millionaire. Imagine what you could do with $1.5 million. I'm talking about beach houses, vacationing in style, maybe even buying that vintage car you've been eyeing. Hey, maybe even put a down payment on a private jet. Okay, maybe I'm getting carried away. But you get my point, this coin could change your life. Before you go running to your piggy bank or diving into your couch cushions, remember that finding one of these 2013 no mint mark pennies is rare. But it's not impossible. And even if you don't have one now, you can always keep an eye out for other rare coins that are just waiting to be found. Have you ever found a coin in your pocket that made you think, this could be worth a fortune? Well, today, I've got a juicy nugget for you. Imagine stumbling across a penny worth $1 million. Sounds too good to be true, right? But it's not. And it's not some wild story from a late-night infomercial either. Nope, I'm talking about the 2017 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yup, that shiny little penny sitting in your collection, maybe under your couch cushion, could be worth $1 million. Stick around as we dive into why this coin is making waves, and how you can spot one if you've got a sharp eye, and maybe a little luck on your side. So, what's the deal with this 2017 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny? For most of us, pennies are just pocket change, right? Maybe you've got a jar full of them somewhere collecting dust. But this isn't your average copper coin. This specific penny is the stuff of legend in the coin world. The 2017 D penny has a special error that can make it worth a ton of money, like, more than your car, your vacation, and probably your entire Netflix subscription combined. Now, hold on, I know you're thinking, how can a penny possibly be worth $1 million? Let me explain. The thing that makes this coin so special is a die error, basically, a mistake made during the minting process. Some of these 2017 D pennies were stamped incorrectly, causing the design to have extra features or weird, off-center marks. These errors make the coin incredibly rare, and rarity equals value in the world of collecting. Imagine finding a painting where the artist accidentally spilled paint, but it ended up looking like a masterpiece. That's what these error coins are like. People love them because they're unique and, well, let's face it, a mistake can sometimes turn out to be pretty valuable. Now, let's talk about how to spot this $1 million penny. First off, it's gotta be the 2017 D mint mark, meaning it was made at the Denver Mint. Next, check for the die error. The mistake could be anything from doubling in the design to an odd indentation or extra feature on Lincoln's face or the surrounding areas. If you've got a 2017 D penny that looks off, it could be your ticket to the big leagues, and here's where I get real with you. About a year ago, I was at a coin shop, just browsing, you know. I had a jar of pennies with me, thinking they were all worthless. The shopkeeper took a look, then dropped this huge bombshell on me. He found a coin with a slight imperfection, and it wasn't a 2017 D, but it was still a rare error coin. He told me it could go for over $1,000, which was honestly a little mind-blowing at the time. That it made me realize that even those little pennies we think are just, well, pennies, could be hiding some serious value. If you want to make money from home, flipping rare coins is a great way to do it. Who knew that a little pocket change could turn into a mini goldmine? So, if you've got a 2017 D penny and you're thinking it's nothing more than a regular coin, you might want to take a second look. That small mistake could mean big bucks. If you spot an error, it could seriously change your financial future. Who doesn't want $1 million penny sitting in their collection? Before you go diving into every penny jar you have, remember, finding a rare coin isn't guaranteed. But hey, if you don't start looking, you won't ever find one. And if you want more tips and tricks on coins worth money, strategies to turn your coin collection into cash, and maybe a few more stories of my own bad luck, or good luck, depending on how you look at it, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on any future tips that might make you a millionaire, or at least, get you some extra cash for that next Starbucks run. Catch you in the next video, and remember, start checking those coins. You never know what treasures might be hiding in plain sight. Did you know a simple penny could change your life forever? Imagine holding a 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny in your hand, unaware that it might be worth up to $2 million. Yes, you heard that right, $2 million. How many pennies have slipped through your fingers over the years? What if one of those could fund your dream vacation, pay off your mortgage, or secure your retirement? What if you've already spent a fortune on a soda? Today, I'm going to show you exactly why this unassuming coin holds such tremendous value, how to identify it, and how you can turn it into a life-changing payday. Stay with me, because every detail could be the difference between keeping a priceless treasure, or letting it slip away forever. The 1967 no-mint Mark penny may look ordinary, but its story is extraordinary. During the 1960s, the U.S. Mint faced a coin shortage crisis. To speed up production, they left out mint marks altogether for pennies made in Philadelphia. While millions of these were minted, only a tiny fraction are worth serious money today. Why? Condition, rarity, and one key detail I'll share in a moment. Now, here's where it gets exciting, and a little nerve-wracking. If your 1967 penny has what collectors call a flawless strike, with no scratches or imperfections, it could fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. But wait, if it also has an ultra-rare double-die error, you might be looking at a seven-figure payday. Yes, 7 figures. Quick question. When was the last time you actually checked the loose change in your pocket? Here's the scary part. Many people unknowingly spend these valuable coins, or worse, trade them in for face value at a coin counter machine. Imagine losing $2 million to a vending machine. Let's make sure you don't become one of those horror stories. To spot these rare errors, pay close attention to the lettering and date. If you see any doubling or strange markings, that's your jackpot clue. But wait, before you rush to check your collection, there's a critical detail you need to know. The record-breaking auction price for a 1967 no-mint Mark penny stands at a jaw-dropping $2.2 million. And guess what? The coin didn't belong to a wealthy collector or a museum. It was found in someone's forgotten jar of change. So, here's what you need to do. First, check every single 1967 penny in your collection. Look for pristine condition and rare errors. If you're unsure about its worth, consult a professional coin grader. They're the key to unlocking your coin's true potential. But let me ask you this, what would you do if you discovered you were sitting on a $2 million treasure? Would you sell it immediately or hold on to it, waiting for its value to rise even further? This is your chance to transform a forgotten piece of history into the future you've always dreamed of. Don't let fear or doubt stop you. Go find those 1967 pennies today. Remember, every second you wait, someone else might be claiming the fortune that could have been yours. What if I told you the spare change sitting in your drawer could be your golden ticket to a wealthy lifestyle? Yes, I'm talking about a single penny that could make you a millionaire overnight. There's one particular coin, a 1969 Lincoln penny, that's been making waves in the collector's world. Some versions of this coin are so rare they've sold for over $1.8 million. And the shocking part? Most people don't even realize they own one. Imagine pulling out your piggy bank, dusting off a penny, and finding out it's worth more than your car, or your house. No, you're not on an episode of Pawn Stars, but this is the real deal. Stick with me, and I'll show you exactly what makes this coin so valuable, how to identify if you have one, and why time is of the essence if you want to cash in big. Let's rewind to 1969. It was a year of change, literally. The Denver Mint produced millions of Lincoln pennies, but a rare printing error created a version unlike any other, the double die obverse. This error doubled the lettering on the coin, making phrases like, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty" look as if they're in bold font twice over. Now, before you dismiss this as just another old penny, let me remind you, collectors and auction houses are fiercely competing to get their hands on these coins. And the demand keeps rising. One lucky seller didn't realize what they had until they took it to auction. When the hammer dropped, they walked away with a staggering $1.8 million. Imagine the look on their face. Now, here's where you can change your life. To spot this rare gem, grab a magnifying glass, or even your smartphone camera. Look closely at the coin's front. If you notice doubled lettering on "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," congratulations, you might be holding a fortune. And no, squinting at your coin for hours doesn't count as exercise, though your wallet will thank you later. But wait, there's a catch. Not every 1969 penny with doubling is worth millions. In just a moment, I'll tell you how to confirm if yours is the real deal. Here's the thing, most people unknowingly spend these rare pennies at face value. They slip through cash registers and vending machines, disappearing forever. Don't let that be your story. If you find a potential candidate, consult an expert grader or a professional coin dealer. Authenticity is key, and only certified coins fetch top dollar prices. Imagine the look on your friends' faces when you tell them a penny made you a millionaire. Or better yet, the vacations, dream home, or financial security you could finally achieve. But remember, this market is time-sensitive. As more people discover these coins, the value could shift. The best time to act is now. Now, here's the million-dollar question. Could one of these pennies be hiding in your collection? You'll never know unless you check. Start searching, and you might just uncover a piece of history, and a life-changing fortune. Alright, picture this. You're digging through your junk drawer looking for some spare change to buy a soda, and boom, you stumble upon a penny. Not just any penny, though. This little guy has a mint mark from 1970, and guess what? It could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. That's right, folks, one penny might just change your life. No genie, no lamp, just cold hard cash. Today, we're diving into the mysterious and lucrative world of the 1970 Abraham Lincoln penny. Why is it worth so much? What makes it special? And most importantly, do you have one hiding somewhere? Let's find out. So, what's the deal with this penny? The 1970 Lincoln penny was minted in Denver. That's what the little D under the date means. Now, here's the kicker. The reason it's worth millions is because of a crazy minting error. See, back in the day, the US Mint didn't have the fancy high-tech machinery they do now. Mistakes happened, and these mistakes created a jackpot for collectors like us. The most famous error on the 1970 penny is a double die. That means some parts of the design, like Lincoln's profile or the date, appear doubled. It's like the penny was in a rush and left a shadow behind. But wait, there's more. Some versions of this coin were also struck on a 1941 Canadian penny planchet. Yeah, you heard that right, a US coin on Canadian metal. Talk about a plot twist. Here's where it gets personal. When I first heard about this penny's value, I was skeptical. I mean, $1 million penny? It sounded like one of those, too good to be true, internet scams. But then, I remembered my grandpa's old coin jar sitting in my garage. You know, the one collecting dust. So, I spent an entire Saturday going through pennies. Did I find a 1970 D double die? Sadly, no. But I did find a 1955 wheat penny worth about $50, so hey, not a bad consolation prize. Now, back to our $1 million penny. If you're lucky enough to find one, you'll need to get it authenticated by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll verify its condition, rarity, and those sweet minting errors. The better the condition, the higher the value. And if you find one that's uncirculated, meaning it's shiny and basically untouched, then congratulations, you just hit the coin collector's lottery. And let me address the elephant in the room. Some of you are probably thinking, come on, who's actually paying $1.6 million for a penny? Well, rich collectors and investors are. Coins like this aren't just currency, they're history in your hand. It's like owning a piece of art or a rare baseball card. Alright, so here's the game plan. Start digging through your change jar, your couch cushions, or even that weird drawer in the kitchen where you keep random stuff. Keep an eye out for a 1970 D penny, especially one with doubling on the date or an unusual metal color. Who knows? You might just be sitting on a small fortune. Could this make me rich? Today, we're diving into one of the coolest mysteries in the coin world, the 1971 Lincoln penny with no mint mark that's worth an eye-popping $1.4 million. Yeah, you heard that right. This little copper beauty could buy you a mansion, a couple of sports cars, or at least a lifetime supply of pizza. So, grab your jar of pennies because you might just have $1 million jackpot hiding in plain sight. What's the deal with this penny? The 1971 no mint mark penny was minted in Philadelphia, where they didn't bother to add a mint mark back then. Most of these coins are worth just face value, one shiny cent. But a few rare ones have a special story. These pennies are worth big bucks because of their pristine condition, which collectors call MS-67 red grade. That's fancy coin speak for, this penny is so perfect it looks like it just teleported out of 1971. Now, why $1.4 million? A coin like this doesn't just show up in your couch cushions. It's been preserved, untouched, likely in a collector's vault for decades. Recently, one of these unicorn pennies sold for $1.4 million at auction. Imagine that. Someone just cashed in a single penny for enough money to buy a yacht, and probably still had some change left over. Here's where it gets fun. Back when I first got into coin collecting, I remember finding a shiny 1971 penny. I was convinced it was worth a fortune. My heart was racing. I ran to my laptop, Googled it, and nothing. Turns out, it was just a regular penny. But hey, that little moment of excitement got me hooked on the hobby. Now, every time I see a penny, I can't help but flip it over and dream. So, what should you do if you think you've got one of these super pennies? First, check the date, 1971 is what you're looking for. Then, check the back for any damage, scratches, or weird marks. If it looks pristine, you're onto something. You'll want to take it to a professional coin grader, like PCGS or NGC. They'll slap a grade on it and let you know if you're holding a treasure or just a shiny piece of copper. And here's a pro tip, keep your coins in a cool, dry place. No pockets, no wallets, no throwing them in a jar with rusty pennies. Treat them like the potential $1 million babies they are. So, what's the moral of the story? That little penny in your junk drawer might just be your golden ticket to a new life. Start checking those coins, folks. Your next trip to the gas station could turn into a trip to the bank with $1 million smile. You're rifling through your spare change, just looking for a quarter for the parking meter, and bam, you spot a penny that's worth a cool $1 million. Yeah, I said $1 million for one little copper coin. Sounds crazy, right? Well, stick around because today, we're diving into the fascinating, mind-blowing world of the 2002 Lincoln penny. Let's find out why this humble coin might just make you a millionaire. So, what's the deal with the 2002 Lincoln penny? First off, the D stands for Denver, where this particular coin was minted. And while most of these pennies are worth, well, a penny, there's a rare batch out there that's turning heads in the collector world. These coins have some unusual errors, like double strikes or off-center designs, that collectors drool over. We're talking wallet-shaking, rare. One of these pennies recently made headlines, fetching a jaw-dropping $1 million at auction. Now, let me tell you about my own penny collecting journey. A few months ago, I found an old jar of change in my garage. I thought, why not go treasure hunting? I spent hours Googling dates, squinting at mint marks, and convincing myself that every other penny was a jackpot. Spoiler alert, I didn't find a $1 million penny, but I did find one worth $15. Not too shabby for spare change, huh? Here's what to look for on your 2002 Lincoln penny. Check the date for any errors, like a double die, where the design looks like it's been stamped twice, or a wide AM in North America on the back. These small details are like finding a golden ticket, but instead of chocolate, you get cold, hard cash. And if you're thinking, there's no way I have something like that, think again. Rare coins have been found in the most random places. A guy in Ohio found a valuable penny in his kid's lunch money. So, yeah, don't underestimate your spare change stash. So, what did we learn today? Always check your change. The 2002 Lincoln penny might just be your golden ticket to a millionaire lifestyle, or at least a pretty sweet vacation fund. And who doesn't want that, right? If you're hooked on uncovering hidden treasures in your spare change, or just love the idea of getting rich from coins you've already got, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got loads of tips, tricks, and stories to help you cash in on the world of rare coins. Who knows, your next penny could be the one that changes your life.